A very good evening to all of the participants who spent the time and join us in this great evening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Industrial Talk, which is organized by Group 4 from Technopreneurship Seminar Section 9. My name is Conchero and it is my pleasure to be the moderator of today's event. Before starting the event, allow me to briefly introduce today's event, Lean Startup. The talk mainly focuses on the journey of success of an entrepreneur. If you have any question throughout the event, feel free to drop your question in the chat box. Without further ado, let us welcome our speaker, the CEO of Lean Partners Sendirian Berhad, Mr. Manika. Mr. Manika, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity as well, right? And welcome, guys. It'd be nice if you guys can open the videos, because I can only see the names and without videos. Only one person is open the videos, right? So if you guys can open the videos, it'll be nice to have a good communications interaction together. All right. Terima kasih. All right. Okay. Without further ado, let me share my slides and then we can actually kickstart. Okay, let me just start the session. So thanks again for joining this session. To everyone that have opportunities to log in, and I hope giving me the next 45 minutes or so to 1 hour will be valuable for you, and I'll try my best to share the information that can actually give you some sort of a brief idea what is this entrepreneurship all about and how the journey of people have moved on. And the agenda for today is basically to share my own journey, to give you idea how I came into entrepreneurship, and what was my background all about, just to share a bit story with you guys. And then we also want to talk about what does this entrepreneurship journey look like, to share some case study about how the company have went through, right? Is that what we think or it is different, right? So there's something that we're going to look into it. And then as a topic suggested about Lean Startup, we will touch a bit on what is Lean Startup all about, what are the components in Lean Startup. And finally, before we wrap up, we're also going to touch a bit on the customer focused, how the new products or new innovative ideas people are generating, how it is a customer focused kind of things, right? So that's something we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to wrap up the day, right? So these are main 4 topics areas we're going to touch on. Feel free if you guys have any questions to ask, just stop me and ask questions, or we will have a Q&A session at the end as well, right? So we can have some chat over there as well, right? Okay, let me start with my journey. Okay, my name is Manika Vasagam. You can call me Manika in short, right? You can just call me M-A-N-I-C-A, right? So to keep it simple, you can call me Manika. And as long as you remember money, you'll remember me. Right? Manika, Manika, right? The easy as is that. Okay. What is my background in terms of my qualification? I'm a graduate as an engineer, right? In the engineering line. And then I have started my career in an organization. I'll share that shortly. But I've also been getting into a program called Lean Six Sigma. I'm not sure how many of you have exposed to this. I know most of the university have touched on this topic as well. And if you guys not, just Google out what is Lean Six Sigma all about. But it's quite powerful knowledge to have it, especially for upcoming years. Okay, so in Lean Six Sigma, there is a different levels. They call yellow belt, green belt, black belt, and master black belt. So I'm holding a master black belt in Lean Six Sigma and also Kaizen facilitation. I did it with Six Sigma Academy in UK, London. That's where I completed my masters. Then I also done my design thinking, innovation through design thinking with the Business London School, and also I'm a member of Business Excellence Industry Scheme committee members as well, right? I've been more than 2 decades, more than 20 over years in this particular line on business improvement and business transformation kind of activities. We supported more than 200 clients at this moment once I started my business. And we also supporting some of this industry which is under Fortune 500 companies as well, right? That's a bit more my qualification, but let me give you the real journey that I was going through, right? Just before one slide before that, this is where I've been appointed as the committee members of policy making for endorsing standards and also criteria for professional certification on Lean Six Sigma. So this particular department come under Ministry of International Trade and Industry, MITI, right? I'm sure you heard about it. They have endorsed this program, and I was one of the members for qualifying the co-curriculum or the standards for the certification, like an ISO kind of things. Okay. I'm an author as well. I have published a book on the art of proven results, right? And my second book's in progress now. It's supposed to be out, but due to the pandemic, it will delay a bit. I just praying hard that it will be out by this year, right? So that will be my second book. It's with publisher in editing mode. My second book. This is my first book. I will talk about this book at the last slide of the presentation. If those are interested, you can actually explore this book. Okay. All right, so this is my real journey now, right? The journey to become an entrepreneur, right? So I graduated from University Putra Malaysia, UPM, right, in Serdang. And my first job, I was started in back 1997. I graduated in 1997 and I started my job in 1997. Our first job is with Western Digital as a process engineer. That's my first job after come out from university, right? In 3 years after in Western Digital, I moved into Ericsson. On doing mobile phone back in year 2000, all right. I think that point in time, Ericsson mobile phones out. Now it's out of the business. And that company is actually taken over by Flextronics for manufacturing part. So that's why I have a board logo there. I was joined as an engineer, then slowly become a head of industrial engineer. What I do as industrial engineer is basically I got like, I work closely with R&D. And it is basically I have 8 engineers report to me, and we build engineering runs, right? More like a prototype kind of things. When the design R&D have come out with a new mobile phone, and then we'll be running the prototype, and we design the process, and then we hand over to the operation. That was my job in back then. And with my qualification on my interest into Lean Six Sigma, give me a bridge to cross over to service industry. So I was in the banking industry, looking at process reengineering and business transformation kind of activity. So that was back in 2004. I was there with Standard Chartered, right? And then I got also an opportunity to work with Shell International back in 2009. I got an opportunity to support Krakow in Poland, Glasgow in UK, Chennai in Manila, and also Malaysia. 5 different centers on running projects, improvements, transformation activities under Shell, right? So back in 2013, that's where I step out from corporate world with all my experience working with 3 different organizations. One is manufacturing, one is service, and one more is in oil and gas. So with these 3 combination of exposure that I had, I came out from a corporate world and started a company called Lean Partner, right? And I was the founder and the chief executive of this organization since 2013, right? So we are in the 9th year journey now. We are in the 9th year journey now. Like what I said in my previous slide, we are supporting more than 200 clients in the last 9 years. And we are actively doing that. And we are doing it across different industries as well. Okay. So this is in a nutshell, what are the positions I've held in the past and how I grow myself before I start up my business. What Lean Partner do, right? Let me just keep very quickly a brief. I'm sure you guys have heard about things like, business process engineering, operation excellence, continuous improvement, or Toyota production system, total quality management. Anyone have done any quality related paper, I'm sure you heard about this kind of words. Right? So those are the philosophies used by organization, but it cannot operate by itself. What I mean by that is, it's just a term being used for some activities in the organization. But what is enabler to this? What are the tools they use? So one of the enablers is Lean Six Sigma. All right, Lean Six Sigma have a methodology to identify the root cause and also address the root cause. Okay. If you guys have seen any of the survey done on the skill set for the next 5 years, one of the skills that definitely going to be there is analytical knowledge and also complex problem solving. So both of this skill set is actually top 5 skill set. If you look into the survey, and those two skill set will be addressed through Lean Six Sigma knowledge, right? So any of you guys as a student, if you have an opportunity to get some skill set or some certification in Lean Six Sigma, please do so. It's highly recommended. You can Google out what I'm talking about. So no need to just take my word. You can just check it out. It is a very strong skill set to hold as an advantage in the market, right? So then we also talk about design thinking, right? The reason we're going to touch this again in the later part of it, because I'm going to share with you guys how this works for your new product as an entrepreneur, right? So design thinking have 5 phases as well. Basically, you go through the phases to identify the product and develop the product and prototype the product and so on. Okay. And then we have agile. I'm sure you heard about this word as well. It's quite a very flavor kind of things for the last couple of years when we talk about agile, agility and all those stuff. Again, this is also part of the enabler for these programs. Right? We cover all these programs in Lean Partner actually, right? So we support organization to understand that. But you have a lot of tools under all this program, right? We talk about fishbone diagram, Pareto chart, hypothesis testing, all right, you name it. There are quite a number of tools out there. But these tools belongs to individual gurus. Right? It is not belongs to any of this methodology. Because some tools are more than 200 over years. For example, like a normal distribution, normal curve. I'm sure some of you have learned this in the maths, normal distribution, right? That was found back in 1735. It is basically giving more than 200 over years. It is still in a what you call an implementation, and people are still using it. What it means? It means it's a proven tool, right? If it is not a working tool, I'm sure people will forget and drop off it. So all tools are applicable for all methodology, but Lean Six Sigma have a very structured and organized use of these tools. Right? This is what Lean Partner do. If you ask me what my business, this is my business. Basically, we transfer knowledge to the working adults, and also we are consultants to go into the organization to do transformation activities. As an outcome of it, we're looking at customer experience, improving customer experience, improving on their operation costs, increasing in the profit, branding the organization, and so on. That's what is the outcome that actually we are building for the organization. All right. So that's basically what Lean Partner all about. Okay, very short, and just give you idea who am I and how this company was formed and what we actually doing, and how big is our clientele look like. Okay, right. Next, let's talk about the entrepreneurial journey, right? So you see, there's a 2 important image on top. Look like everything perfect, nicely drive through, right? And over here you see it's up and down, right? So what you're seeing on top is a plan, nice to plan. I'm sure all of us get excited when you want to run your own business. We have all kind of ideas and plans and techniques and everything, right? And we feel that it is a very smooth journey, but the reality is not, right? The reality is going to be up and down. So why I'm sharing that is because you guys have to prepare. If any of you planning to become an entrepreneur soon, that it is not a straight line. Right? Really need to take that into consideration. Okay, but you don't need to be worried about it. As long as you have a solid strategic in place, you're able to go down and come back up again with the learning that you are going through, right? But no need to worry about it. So let's see some examples here, right? So all right, like I just explained to you, right? What people think is a straight line, but actual case, it is what it really looks like is not a straight line. Okay, so I just pick up a couple of case study, all right, to give you some ideas about how these guys came out with a successful business, right? Now, Alibaba, I'm sure all of you know Jack Ma, right? I'm sure this is something that was circulating even before pandemics. Very strongly, people talk about Alibaba, right? So this guy actually born back in 1964, right? And basically every day to hotel to improve his English with the foreigners. So he learned English by meeting up people, right? And he cycled to a hotel just to talk to the Englishmen. Okay. And the name Jack was given by a tourist from Australia, right? That's how we get this name Jack. Okay. So he passed on the third trial, graduated in 1988. He got rejected in multiple jobs, including KFC. Right? He worked as an English teacher in a local university. Okay. His translation company, which guided him to visit US once, then he started recognizing internet. That's where the first journey of Jack Ma started, right? Recognize the internet, right? Within 3 years, his company had made 5 million Chinese, right? So there is a subscription of it, people coming into it. Okay, he created a page and he saw there's a huge number of people are coming into it, right? And he returned back and he found he started up. He returned to China and then his team to form Alibaba. So initially we got 17 investors of his friends together, okay, and they started up 70 million members for more than 240 countries. It's the jackpot of the jacks, right? Few companies tried to buy them over, it was rejected. He said, no, we are not selling. All right. And in 2014, you can see IPO, largest IPO in US finance, $25 billion. Do you think it's a straightforward? No. He went up and down. He take risk. He have seen some opportunities. He bring his friends together. There's a lot of things are actually went through before he become, right? What we know is the end game, but the behind the scene, there's quite a number of things are happening. Let's see one more example. Airbnb, right? I'm sure you heard about this as well. This concept is quite popular as well, right? People are renting their own houses, a room or space for people, right? So Joe and Brian, right? These two guys, they have a problem. They actually had a problem to pay their rent. That was the initial start of this whole idea of doing it, right? They really got a problem to pay rent. So they think to rent out the 3 air mattress, right, on the floor to people to serve breakfast. So that's all the first thing they started, right? And they make a small cash out of it, and they make a simple website, a blog, right? And then 2 men, 1 woman show up, and they get $80 each. So that's the first idea, but the idea born because they got a problem, right? The idea born because they got problem to solve. That's how the idea started up. All right. After the guests left, they thought this could be the big idea. And they invented the former roommate as a co-founder to build the website. So now they want to promote, right? They want to tell this so and so, right? And they launch it and they start thinking about other concepts as well. This has happened right when Obama was standing for election time. Right? They took that opportunity as well. They made some bucks through sold Obama Host Carol. Right? It's a popcorn kind of a thing, right? And they made quite $30,000 because it is the election time and is promote that and they got some money as well, funding. Right? So to cut the story short, end game you can see they raised 7.2 million by simple idea of renting a place, right? So now you can go Airbnb website and you can find around the world so many people have posted for renting. So it's much cheaper, simple, easier, other than a hotel, right? So let me just pick up one or two more. Okay, this is actually on the WhatsApp. The Jen is actually worked this out. This is very powerful because we're talking about too poor to succeed, right? It means that we're talking about people might say that, oh, I don't have money. How do I actually start my business, right? But let's look into this WhatsApp concept over here. Back in 1976, he's born in Ukraine, right? He born in Ukraine, right? He came to US as a mom, right? How they get into US basically is they went as like a refugee. They are extremely poor. They cannot survive in their country. They actually moved to US, right? So you can see that, sorry. You can see that they get food stamp. That means, they are actually like a coupon to get food, right? And there was working all kind of works over there. When he was 18 years old, he learns to do coding. Okay, and he start college. He hate it. He quit the college, and then he start work with the Yahoo, right? And from age of 21 to 30, he quit Yahoo, and 32 he starts WhatsApp. So he start working on WhatsApp, right? If you really go into his biography and look into it, why he start WhatsApp is because his father was stay back at in Ukraine, and the mother and son is in the US, and they got an even difficulty to talk to their father because he don't have money to call using the phone that point of time. So he decided to build something that, together his friend, to build something that he can communicate with his father. That's why they went use network, internet call and stuff like that. Okay, so you can see he was super poor. There's no money in the hand, and he sold it to Facebook for $90 billion. The WhatsApp, right? Today, you know that WhatsApp is under Facebook, right? We know that this history moment was happened a couple of years back, right? Where Facebook bought over WhatsApp. So this story I want to share in a term of, we don't need to worry about whether we have the fun at this moment or not. As long as you got a great idea, something we can turn into money as well. Okay, right. One more, Zoom is one of the popular platform, especially in the pandemic time, right? And we know that the share went extremely high. The guy get into a huge, rich guy overnight. So Eric Yuan, back in 1997, he was working with the Webpack, the system that we are using now for the presentation. And he got this idea of Zoom, simplified version, and he tried to propose to Webpack. Webpack rejected. But the idea came because he wanted to meet his girlfriend. It takes 10 hours of drive. So you want to have a good communication or platform that he can talk to his girlfriend all the time. That's how the idea started out, right? And so back in 2011, he founded the Zoom video communication. He started the whole business, right? And we know what happened in 2020. 10 years, almost 10 years after that, 9 to 10 years after that, he just become multimillionaire, right? Because of the pandemic and his Zoom, everybody start buying the subscription, and it just went up and up, right? Okay, so from all this case study, I want to do some sort of summary over here. All right, we got a lot of case study, of course, we can talk about it, but I just choose few of these case study. What is one thing in the common? The one thing in the common is we try to solve a problem of something. Right? So I want to leave two important things for you to take back, right? So I want you guys to, if you want, you can just write it down somewhere. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, the first point is you need to ask the question, what problem that I'm solving? Let me repeat. If you want to be the entrepreneur, you need to ask the question, what problem that I'm solving? Right? That's the first question. Because for people to subscribe to your service and product, the product should be fixing something for me, correct? You don't buy something that is not going to be used for you, right? You're only going to buy the thing or subscribe the thing if it is useful for you. So first question as an entrepreneur, we need to know what problem that we are solving. The second question to be successful entrepreneur will be, how innovative is our solution? How innovative is our solution? Because for the problem that we want to solve, I'm sure there's a lot of people doing the same thing as well. Correct? So why that should go to your product? That means it's very different from others. So question number 2 is about how innovative is your solution. What is innovative? Innovative is actually problem solving. If your solution is different from your competitor, then we call that innovative because it's very unique. Only you or your company can do that, right? So this become very unique. So that's what we call as a innovation. So there's only 2 questions to answer. Question number 1, what problem that I'm going to solve, right? Question number 2, how innovative is our solution? There's only 2 questions to answer for you to get into the enterprise. If I see the Zoom example, he tried to fix the problem that he's facing, that he cannot communicate with his girlfriend. Even you take Facebook, what is initially they want to build something they can communicate within their universities, right? That's also initial stop because they cannot communicate with each other, right? WhatsApp, you want to communicate with his dad, and at the same time, he found out that it's instant messaging that he found when he was working with the Apple as well, right? So that's where the Facebook came out. WhatsApp came, right? If you say Airbnb, is basically they got a problem of not having money. They want to fix that. That's where the idea started. So everything there is something was trigger them as a problem, and we try to fix the problem. That's where we see as an opportunity to fix it. Okay, let's take another old example, but it's a good example, like Grab. Grab taxi I'm talking about. Of course, Grab app, Grab Pay, Grab Food and all that. Let's talk about Grab taxi, right? And when the Grab was launched, the traditional taxi really been killed. Until today, they are struggling, right? Maybe if they are still driving under taxi category. Okay, what Grab have actually done? If you look into the taxi process, right, where you actually have to go to the taxi stand and wait there to get your taxi, or those days people have to go to the roadside, try to stop the taxi and ask whether you go to their location or not. Sometimes taxi is empty, they say, oh no, I'm not going to go that place, and they just leave you, right? But Grab solved all that problem. You say that you don't need to go to anywhere. You stand where you are, right? Go to the application, choose the destination you want, look into which driver is willing to go that place, and it will also tell you how much you need to pay. You know exactly which driver going to come. You know exactly how fast you're going to reach to the destination you are standing. And you also know where he is currently by looking at the map. Is it coming closer or not? So much of information and make life easier for everyone. Correct? And you just take 360 turn like that, they become very, very demand in the market. And today people cannot live without it. The same goes to Google Maps, same goes to Waze. If you look into the Waze, right, the concept, a lot of people get handicapped, we don't have Waze. I still remember my older, early age time, where if I want to go for one place, I have to go to the location and try to ask people where this road is, where this place is, and so on, right? I mean, to ask multiple people. Today, I think your generation especially, nobody asks anyone. Just take the Waze and just go to the location just like that, correct? So all these examples that I'm sharing with you is all talk about solving a problem. All right, guys. So let me take you the next half an hour on what is Lean Startup all about? What is Lean Startup all about? Okay. What is Lean? So Lean Startup is approach to the business development that is based on the application of Lean production to innovation. Okay, let me just quickly take you guys into some history of Lean, give you some background. So if I go after World War II, Toyota production system was formed, right? Toyota actually started up a program called TPS, Toyota Production System, after World War II. But before World War II, Henry Ford started up the first production line to assemble a car, right, automobile. And after World War II, Toyota learned something from Henry Ford. They started up a Toyota production system. Okay, and late 19th century, right? Late 19th century, close to 2000. This guy called James Walmart, who go around the world, try to see the best automotive company. and he found out that Toyota is one of the best automotive company. And the moment you understand the operation of the Toyota, and he was fall in love with the TPS system, Toyota Production System. And he decided to say that I'm going to transfer this knowledge to the world. But if I want to call Toyota Production System, that a lot of people might not interested in, because the word Toyota Production System always linked back like automobile, right? Why the bank need to learn that? Why insurance company need to learn that? So what he did is he renamed the entire program Toyota Production System to Lean, right? But Lean is typical English word. If you go and Google Lean, you're going to find a lot of lean body, all right? How to lean our body, right? So let's say I'm a 200 kg weight. So I cannot run like a normal person. I cannot jump like a normal person. I cannot eat like a normal person, right? Because I'm too obese, 200, 250 kg. Okay. If you say lean the body, what I'm doing? I'm removing all the waste from my body. So automatically we say that we are removing our fat from our body. That's why we call it as a lean your body, right? The same thing, the concept was applied in the process. How to lean the process? We remove all the unwanted activities, right? How do we actually stop doing things that are not adding value to the customer? Okay, that's what lean concept all about. Lean production means that. How to simplify the whole process. So other than I'm going to 20 steps to start my business, how can I do in 5 steps to start my business? That's what it's all about in terms of lean startup. Lean is all about simplifying, right? Simplifying. So guide to how to drive startup, build and maintain the products. That's what we actually use the lean concept over here. So roots of the lean startup, I just explained to you that it came from Toyota Production System, TPS. Okay. And what is the principle of lean is like know your customer first of all, right? We need to understand the persona of the customer. Eliminate the waste. We don't want any wastage in the process, right? If you're running in the batch, how to reduce the batch size, right? Just in time for production, like first in, first out kind of a concept as well. Acceleration of the cycle time, simplifying and speed up the whole process. So those are the principle of lean, right? Why lean is important to use part of the lean startup. Let's quickly see the definition of the keywords, right? So we talk about startup, right? When you say the lean startup, business startup, what is startup? So it's a human institution to create a new product or service under the condition of extremely uncertainty. So when you say startup company, we are doing like an experiment, right? Because we don't know how successful that process is going to be, how successful the product going to be when we launch it. So that's why we call startup. It's a lot of uncertainty are there, right? So then we talk about entrepreneur. Everyone from the visionary with a little backing to seasoned visionary with a larger company, right? So entrepreneur always like starting in the small, slowly they become bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, product. Anything that customer experience as a part of an interaction with the company. It means that it can be a product that is selling to them, or you can give a service, advisory service, anything like that. So as long as there's an interaction between you and the customer, we call that as a product. Okay, so that's the 3 important keyword that you need to understand when you're doing a business. So the lean startup have a 3 important components. So we talk about vision, where you try to reach the once you begin, all right, where you want to be, what's the final destination that you're looking at it. Then we talk about strategic, right? This is one of the very, very important element, guys. So please take attention to strategic. Try to learn a bit more, get your skill up on the strategic, because there's a lot of strategic out there. Like business model, we talk about Blue Ocean, Red Ocean, Michael Portal, right? You name it, there's quite a number of business models that are out there as part of the strategic that you can apply, right? How do you build your roadmap and so on, right? And the product is the end result of the strategy. What is the final outcome that you try to sell to your customer now? It can be in a service form, can be application, can be software and so on, right? So what you are actually able to do now. Okay, some of the vision for startups, right? One is destination in mind to creating the thriving business. What is the final goal that you're looking at it? And then should this product be built, right? This is an important question to ask. Because you must ask this question, this critical question for the idea that you're having. But the better question to ask is, this idea going to solve what? What are you going to solve? Right? Because if you're solving something really need for a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of pull factor going to happen. Right? And then you must also have a strong, how do I measure my progress? Okay? Then how to evaluate performance locally? Always try a new project and avoid complex plan. This is part of the lean, right? So as a lean, you don't want to go into very complex kind of things. You break down the larger vision and start with a small experiments to gather customer response, right? So you break it down into smaller chunk and start to do it and see how the response look like. If you find that particular service or product being pulled by the customer, then you can expand bigger for that particular product. All right. So this is some of the vision that you should be taking consideration. All right. Next, I'm going to just bring you guys some of the elements about customer focus to give you some ideas and concepts. How when you build a product or you want to create a product for as an entrepreneur, so what are the things you should be looking to from customer perspective, right? Jack Ma once had mentioned that forget about your competitors, just focus on your customer, right? Sometimes we see people are too busy looking at their competitors, right? If you take a small mini market, people will be looking at another mini market, try to compare with them, but they overlook on focusing on their customer. So what we're trying to say is customer more important than just comparing with other people, whether how am I doing it, okay? So as long as you actually have a strong plan, strategic to focus on your customer, you can see things are get more pull towards you. What do customers like? Simplicity. They want something very simple, right? Today, customer don't want to be too complex, right? And none of you guys will be interested to fill up 20 pages of application form to open a bank account, right? So if I say, please fill up 20 pages of the form to open a bank account, I think none of you will be open the account with my bank. Correct or not? Right? Because, it's too much. So we want something simple. Waste-free, right? We don't want something that is going to be taking my time on. Waste here can be, see, there's 8 type of waste under lean. Right? We talk about transportation waste, motion waste, right? What you call inventory waste, overproduction, overprocessing, defect, skill waste, and so on, right? So we got like 8 different type of waste. So the common one we always want to avoid is waiting waste. It's like you're stuck in a traffic jam, right? When you're stuck in a traffic jam, what happens? You're going to be like waiting and you know that you are wasting your time there already, right? So that's what customer don't want, right? They don't want any waste. Okay? They want trust, a trusted brand, right? They want a trusted brand. So we have to make sure we are building the trust. Accessibility, right? Proactiveness, right? How do I actually have something that is people engage us earlier than what we need to call them and ask and so on, right? More proactive. So those are some of the elements where customer really demanding for, right? So for you to actually get into the new product, design thinking methodology is one of the very powerful, because first step is you try to understand them, and then you're going to explore, and finally you're going to deliver, right? 3 phases. So understanding the customer is basically who's your target market. Right? If you're building a product or you're building let's say you're building a game that you want to launch, right? You are doing coding to build a game, right? And who's your target market? Is it a 5 years and below? Is it going for the adults group, or is it a teenage group? Who is your customer market, target group, right? That's what we call empathize, right? And then you're going to research and you go back and forth to understand the customer until you figure out, okay, this is the right product for this segment that I'm targeting to, right? Clearly define the requirement, clearly define the problem. What are you trying to fix, right? And then you get into brainstorming of the idea. How am I going to work this out? What type of game I should build for this group of people? What will be their interest look like? Okay. Once you have that idea in place, you're going to build prototype. Build a prototype and test it out. How it is working, right? The test can be done through a group of people, and you can actually make a survey kind of things, And then once you've got a very positive feedback and you've done everything necessary, then only you move into build them up, right? And then measure and sustain. So that's basically where you launch your product. Okay. So design thinking have a very strong and structured methodology for new product launching or new service launching that you can actually go through. Okay. That's what we call as a design thinking. All right. And then another tool also very powerful under Lean is also we call as a value stream mapping, where we can actually talk about your customer journey map, try to understand from the start to the end how the customer's movement happens. You can map out the whole process and understand how this has been measured, right? How this has been measured. And we can understand how many touch points are there with the customer, which are the areas is the touch point, and how do you going to handle the touch point so that we can always make customer happy. Okay. All right. Let me give you one simple case study over here. Even it sound a bit old. I'm sure none of you are actually using CD today, but you guys know what is CD, right? The CD player I'm talking about. I'm sure at least you have seen before. Okay, so once upon a time, right? I'm talking about once upon a time. We drive to a shop to listen for the song. Maybe you heard a song in the radio, one particular song, and you get excited. I think I want to get this song, right? But that era, I'm talking about very old time, that era, they have to go to the shop and try to find this CD, right? So they browse through and they found a CD. They find the CD with a song. But you know, one CD can have more than one song. But I just need one particular song, but I need to buy the entire CD now, right? So you wait in the line to buy the CD, and then they drag home, transfer the CD, the CD song to the PC, plug in the media player, copy the one song that you want to be listening, put away the CD, and listen to the song, right? I'm just giving you a very simple process. I'm sure you can visualize what I'm trying to convey over here, right? So let's look into what happened in each of these particular activity. The first one we talk about, we are going to the shop, damn, traffic is slow today, right? You might be stuck with a traffic jam, right? And then when you browse the CD, then you find out this CD seems interesting, but there is a queue to listen. I will skip. Sometimes, in the shop, you have an option to listen to the song, but there's a lot of people standing in the queue. You decided not to listen to the song, right? And it's a $10. Hope the other songs are good, right? I'm buying the CD for $10 and I wish other song also will be good because I'm only looking for one song, but I need to buy the entire CD, right? Just 6 people in front of me, it's not too bad. So I wait in the queue to buy the CD now, right? If it is long queue, maybe I decided not to buy, right? So damn, traffic is slow today, right? So it's also again getting a slow traffic jam if I go back home. When I transfer it to the song to the PC, high quality transfer, but it's super slow, right? Because it's no high megabytes. And I plug it to the media, device not recognized. I'm sure you have come across this kind of problem, right? Sometimes it never match, right? Maybe it will be work if I juggle at the USB, right? So there have to be another option. See, the other songs are not so good as well. And I need a new shelf for my CD collection. I'm sure if you remember old CDs, if you have at home, parents' collections, they might need to find a place to keep all the CDs, right? And then finally you listen to the song. You can see the reaction of the emoji on top, and a lot of places you are actually not happy, right? Going through this whole process, you can imagine what problem that I'm facing. So how do I fix this problem, right? The solution is, especially it came by Apple to start with it. When they launched the iPod, I think there was a really rocket sign of a sales was happened. But if I talk about today, everybody have the mobile phone, you can download the songs. It's just one song, that particular one you're looking at it. Either you purchase it or if it is a free, you can just download it. You can just listen to using your mobile phone already. Correct? Do I need to go back to the process of going to the shop and buying the CD and so on, right? I can skip the entire thing. So this is where I'm talking about how do you actually look into customer centric? How do you actually focus from customer needs and what problem you're fixing here? So with the moment you fix that problem, bingo, you get strong buying and you get a high sales when your product is something that everybody is looking for. Right? So this is just another example to give you from the process perspective. All right. So we are still in the lean. There's two important things I want to bring it up over here. How do I removing the friction, instabilities, and increasing the motivation on the philosophy, right? So friction, we are talking about how do I reduce waiting, waste, too many steps, complex process and all that. It's where the lean mindset coming, right? That's where we talk about lean mindset. When you talk about motivation, we are seeing how to personalize, right? One of the things that I feel strong as an entrepreneur is how do I customize towards the customer need? I think that's become very powerful. Rewarding, special, social responsible, all those things are socially responsible. All those things are very important to order to boost your product, right? You want to reduce area that is not adding value and you want to increase the area that adding value. That's what lean all about, right? So when you talk about lean startup, pretty much we are talking about lean concept. Okay, so just to share with you guys, right? This is a quote by Thomas Friedman, right? We are in the new world using our old tools, right? We are in the new world using old tools. What that means? It means that there's a lot of companies still operating with the old mindset, old method, old equipments, old products, and so on. And it just give you all of you guys great opportunities. That's the world still needs some new technology and new innovation to happen, right? Because we still see a lot of company, even we heard a lot of success stories. We are hearing a lot of new products. We are hearing a lot of innovation products, but we still feel that we got still a lot of opportunity out there, right? To navigate this complex business environment, all companies need to ask three important questions, right? What are the three important questions? The first question, what business am I in? You need to understand clearly what business am I in, right? Of course, you guys have not started a business, but in the future, I want you guys to remember these three questions to ask when you start your business. What business am I in? Because some company, they still have a problem of thinking what business they are in, right? Are they selling training? Are they selling consultation? Are they selling a product? Or what they're actually doing, right? Second, does my business matter, right? I'm sure all of us, including me, will say, oh yeah, it does matter, you know. But what the question mean is, just visualize this. If I shut down Google and all the search engine for next 1 month, will that create a problem into the world? I'm sure it will create a problem for us itself already, right? Or I'm sure I hear this a lot of times I've seen in the social media where suddenly, let's say there's a Facebook or WhatsApp down for 1 hour, and a lot of people start making noise already. So that actually what I mean by if their businesses matter, because if they're not there, people make noise. If Lean Partner is not there, I don't think so. A lot of people or no one will make noise because nobody knows much, correct? So there's a long way for us to also create our business to be matter. What makes our product valuable to the customer? What is the uniqueness of your product? Remember, I told that if you're fixing somebody's problem, how innovative you are fixing their problem is very important, right? How innovative they are fixing the problem is important. Okay, all right. So let's bring it to my second last slide, just to make the conclusion. What we share along the way, right? The first one we talk about, we are living in a highly competitive business world today, right? I used to call our competitor unknown. Why I call our competitors unknown is there is a huge number of people like you guys sitting out there thinking about a startup which can replace my product, right? Which can replace my product. So that's why we say that, you know, I used to tell to my team or in my training, our competitors is unknown. Anybody can just come overnight and take over the business. Like a Grab came in, just killed another business, right? When the phone came in, smartphone came in, just killed all the cameras, right? So who actually, only the high-end camera, DCR, the kind of camera, DSR camera people are using for professional cameramen. All the small camera, everything die off already. Because we just use our phone to do it. We don't need to buy a camera, right? So that one business will kill another business, but anytime they can be killed. So we have to prepare all the time. Second, problem solving. That's a key actually. For you become an entrepreneur, for you become a best employee, even you work for somebody, the skill set that really people are looking for today is problem solving. You can be the CEO of the company, you still need to solve problem. Just a different type of problem, all right? So the skill set of problem solving is super important. And one of the tools that I highly recommend for you to explore is Lean Six Sigma. Right? Later, I'm going to put my email ID. If anybody have any questions, just can write to me. I can actually give you some advice. Right? Problem solving and ability to apply theories to the real world business are the main skill looked for by employees and are important for future graduates. Problem solving. Okay. To navigate this competitive business world, we need upskill ourselves with additional skill set. Just holding our degree might not enough. Exposure, but like what you guys are doing today is a great. You get some other insight. What is corporate world are doing? What is our business world look like? With that knowledge, you can actually get into it and look into how to add more skill set within yourself. All right. Okay. Here, I want to just share a small video talk about the book. Remember, I told you I will go to talk about it in the end. Just going to play this for 1 minute.
How do you actually can get your goal or your target, your objective to be achieved? This book is all about how do you actually focus in the right place for you to achieve the outcome that you're expecting to get it. A lot of people actually lost or having a challenge in terms of direction. How do I actually go about? How do I actually set my goal? What is my goal? Why I need to set a goal? What are the 3-4 steps for us to achieve our objective? People are actually very focused on the outcome without focusing what are the factors going to impact your outcome. So your goal should be more into the factor other than the outcome. Now, I have practiced whatever I written in the book as a guidance to number of people out there, and it is workable. That's the reason why I'm taking this to share to the world how this particular methodology or steps that can actually help you out.
All right, guys. These books are not in the in a bookstore. It's just I'm just sharing with people who want it. If any one of you guys are interested, of course, my intention of this program not to sell anything, but I just thought of if you guys are interested on this book, just WhatsApp to the number below there. The instruction will be shared with you. All right, just $50. I have discounted for student, and just let us know if anybody interested. All right. Okay, let's bring us to the final slide. On Q&A. If anyone have a questions, you can just on your mic and ask the questions, and then I'll take the questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Malika, for giving us such informative talk. I hope everyone could learn and gain some knowledge through the talk session. Now it is time for our Q&A session. So I will read the first question. Is it correct to promote digital products when many people are saying that digital have short lives?
Okay, so I'm going to be answering the question with what I already covered in the session, where if your digital product solving some important problem, you will stay on. If your digital product is not solving some critical problem, then it is questionable whether it's going to be sustainable or not. Right? Because your competitors keep coming with the digital world is very volatile in terms of change, right? So if your product is actually very solid in a way that fixing some critical problem, then definitely you're going to be a good way of go for it. So you need to do the evaluation. You need to understand who's your target group. Should I do that particular digital product or not, right? But I don't want to buy it's a short life. It's just a continuous improvement need to happen on the product. But the world is moving into digitalization today. Everything is moving very digitalized. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, okay. For the next question is, if we have ideas but do not have fun, how do we start? Especially for fresh graduates, because employer may not trust the ability of them.
All right. It is a very good question. You have to pitch your idea, right? So you have to put some work into your idea to find investors. There's a lot of investors, right? We have nowadays. I can see that funding. There's a crowdfunding program going on. Angel funding. There's a lot of funders are out there. You can even look through your LinkedIn and all those stuff. There's a funders, but are you ready to pitch your idea? Right? How do you pitch your idea? You need to really have a solid paperwork about your idea, right? And a justification. What is the return? Because investor, for me to give you 100,000, 100 million, for example, I need to know what is written for me, right? So nobody going to fund us if we don't have that idea, right? So that's one way of looking at it in terms of getting into it. Second option, of course, if you can actually work out your fund within your capability, like start working for a couple of years to get them fund, then only you start your business. There's another option as well. Of course, they take longer compared to you putting your ideas and try to go for your like a crowdfunding and stuff like that. You can pitch. Malaysia got a lot of area the kind of setup as well. Right, that's what I can suggest for that question actually.
So for the third question is, at the time you start your business, do you prioritize high risk, high reward, or do you prioritize to mitigate risk and go for low reward?
Okay. Again, another good questions. Personally for me, I have started with low risk, low reward first, because the reasons why I did that is to test whether how receiving of my product, right? Whether people liked it or not. So along the way, we tried to start building, improving what we had in our hand. And after 2 to 3 years, then only we started to play big. Until then, it was we play slow. So just want to know whether there is acceptance. We build a brand. We try to build our. You see, one of the important things too on the business is how do you actually brand your company, right? How do you actually become? I can give you a very simple formula that I want you guys to remember as well. Visibility plus credibility equals to profitability. Let me repeat. Visibility plus credibility equals to profitability. So you might have a lot of credibility. You might be damn good what you're doing and what you are suggesting. But how many people know you is the question now, right? So the first 1-2 years, I was spending a big time on creating the visibilities so that people know, okay, there's a lean partner. People know what lean partner is doing and all that. So to do that, I take it slow because it is very self-funded company. So we need to make money to grow ourselves. It is not funded by a third party or investors, for example. So due to that, I have to play a bit slow. So if you feel that you have built a product that time for market, I have to do now. For example, I think a very good example will be in the last 2 years. If you are in the business of selling vaccine, what will happen? Super rich, right? Let's say you're building a vaccine, you're selling vaccine. But should I take a slow in terms of selling a vaccine? Maybe not a good idea, because next month or next year, vaccine might not be a good business anyway. Correct? It was like you're slowing down already now. So those kind of type of product or service you have, of course, you have to play high into it and take high risk and try to make the big buck one shot upfront itself, right? Because it's a timing. So you need to also see your timing for your product. But if you feel that product going to be there for a while, then it's up to you how you're going to play with it with the high risk or not. I just share what I did it, but it's all depend on the product and services. Okay.
Okay, Thank you everyone for your questions, and also thanks to Mr. Manika for answering and giving us a wonderful talk. So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our talk session. Before that, let us have a photography session. Everyone please open your camera so we can take some pictures as a memory for today's event.
Okay, so we move to third page. Okay, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manika, for your shared informations and also your experience. Based on your experience, it's very wonderful talk. Okay, thank you so much, Mr.
Welcome.
Manika.
Thanks for the opportunity. I hope it is helpful for everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before leaving the session, you can fill in the attendance form that we have given in the chat box. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope everyone have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, Cotton Doctor. Are you still there, Doctor?